Alright, we're gonna start part 2 now, yeah? So just to recap, in part 1 we went over what happens if bailiffs come to your house and please come to assist the bailiff. And you could say part 1 was based on a scenario that man are acting aggy or you're not being too calm in the situation, so police are coming and police have arrested you because of that. You get me? So to put it clearly, bailiff came to Johnny's house. Johnny disputed that there was a debt, so he is not paying any kind of monies. The bailiff now wants to remove Johnny's goods from his house. Johnny's not having that. So Johnny is trying to protect and defend his property. So because of that, there's raised voices and there's arguments, etc, etc. So because of that, the bailiff feels threatened. So there's cause to call the police because now there seems to be a breach of peace according to the bailiffs, yeah? So that's how part 1 is based on, really. This one we're going to talk about how to act how to act calm in this situation. You get me? One thing I didn't mention in part 1 is the whole recording thing. You get me? Always, from when they come to your door, always pull out your camera and record. Always record anyway. Like if any kind of authority figure steps to you or tries to question you, record it. If police, feds try to step to you or they want to interact with you, pull out your phone and start recording. You get me? Because that's your real weight when it comes to court, and that's your backity when it comes to court. You get me? Because you've done proven on camera the situation. You get me? Alright then. So is society, yeah? Is Johnny's house. There's Johnny, yeah? So the bailiffs come regarding an allegation of a debt to ABC company, yeah? So let's just go back a bit. ABC company, let's just say gave Johnny some services or goods or something like that. Johnny needed to pay for services and goods. There's a dispute between Johnny and ABC company. As far as ABC company is concerned, Johnny owes them money. So because of the lack of payment, ABC company has sold it to third party, yeah? Which is where the bailiffs sit. So this is the bailiffs debt company, yeah? So they are going to contact Johnny in regards to this debt and in regards to some payment. Because Johnny didn't answer the notices or the letters, they've came to his house, yeah? Okay. So the bailiffs are at Johnny's door. Now the first thing I would have done was not open the door in the first place. You get me? Because that will nullify them straight away. You get me? They can't try and climb through your window, or they can't try kick down your door, nothing like that. There's no reason for them to enter or to gain access to your property. You get me? So the first thing I would do is not open the door. If needs to be, and you need to talk to them, you talk to them out the window. But even still, that just causes complications in itself. So I would not open the door, and I would go back to writing to the company through letters, yeah, and notices, and doing it that way. So just say I did open the door, yeah. So I opened the door. So now I'm dealing with the bailiffs and talking to the bailiff. The conversation is going to go something along the lines of, you owe ABC company a certain amount of money. Are you going to pay? Johnny's going to be, no, man, I'm paying. I am paying. So the bailiffs, more time the conversation is going to go towards the bailiff trying to take property out of your house, yeah? So this is all your property. So he's going to remove goods in regards to sorting out payment for ABC company, yeah? Okay. Now, how I would deal with that, I would first ask for proof of debt, that I owe the company a certain amount of money. If they can provide that proof, then I'll be happy to pay some kind of installments to pay ABC back its money. Because if you can prove that Johnny owes ABC money, then that would mean there's some kind of contract between the both of them, yeah? So then Johnny is liable to pay ABC whatever monies it's owed down to the contract, you get me? And that's how contract works. So don't be coming with this freeman thing and sovereign thing about, yo, I'm a man, I don't pay debts or rare-tear, you get me? Because for when you've entered into a contract, you're liable to the terms and conditions of the contract. It's as simple as that. Okay, so let's just say the bailiff brought some evidence and proof to say that I owe the money. Now, because he's brought evidence and proof that I owe ABC money, then I have to set up some kind of arrangement plan, some kind of payment plan, and pay it off, you get me? And that will resolve the matter from there. No pleas, nothing, matter resolved, you get me? So let's just say the bailiff couldn't provide no evidence, couldn't provide no information to prove that I owe ABC money, but yet he's still adamant that he wants to come in and take your property, yeah? I would probably go back to some case law and use Morris versus what is it, Beard? I think it's Morris versus Beardmore, whatever you pronounce it. And in this case, the police came due to the bailiff being there on the presumption that he had a right to be there, yeah? And he felt threatened. But, however, the bailiff had lost his rights the moment he was told to leave by Lord Johnny, you get me? So according to the Morris versus Beardmore and its case law and its judgment that came from the courts and judges, for when you tell the bailiff to leave your premises, he has a duty to then leave. So he's lost all his rights to even continue talking to you outside your door, you get me? So just say he's still continuing to talk to you and he just wants to press this whole removing your goods out your property. He's gonna keep going on with this, I'm taking your goods, etc, etc, etc. So he might try and step in and walk into your property, yeah? Now, according to, I'm gonna go on our website now. Sorry about all this, yeah. Alright then. There's a part in here that talks about milk bottle. Okay, listen. So Vaughan versus Mackenzie 1969, and this went into the Queen's Bench Division. I'm trying focusing on this. If the debtor strikes the bailiff over the head with a full milk bottle after making a forced entry, yeah, the debtor is not guilty of assault because the bailiff was there illegally. You get me? And that was again case law. So that was Vaughan versus Mackenzie. So look up this case law. So that case law were back if the bailiff tries to enter your premises, enter Little Johnny's premises, and tries to forcefully take goods or etc, etc. I wouldn't advise it too tough, you get me? But like the case law saying, if you did use a bottle of milk and just kind of smacked it on his head, then that ain't assault because he's done trespassed into your property, you get me? Now, So let's just say that situation happened. He's came into your house, you've whacked him on the head with a milk bottle. He is definitely going to call police. So when he calls police, police will come down and police will try and arrest you for assault. However, if you bring up the case law and explain to them the situation, have some documents of paper with you, and make sure, like I said, everything's recorded. The feds won't arrest you. They should not arrest you because you're making them understand the law. So they're not going to arrest you. And if they do arrest you, then you've got grounds for when it goes to court. You had reasonable grounds to hit the bailiff on the head with the milk bottle. You had reasonable grounds to ask the bailiff to move from your premises, and the bailiff had duty to leave your premises. So him staying there is a form of exceeding his jurisdiction. He stepped over his duty, you get me? Alright then. So let's say now, so where we at now is he's in your house, he's trying to take your property, you've hit him on the head with the milk bottle and you've asked him to move. He's come out your house now. The police have come down. The police want to try and arrest you for assault, but due to Vaughan versus Mackenzie, they can't arrest you on assault. So the bailiff might say he's feeling threatened and intimidated. Due to Morris versus Beardmore, he can't feel threatened or intimidated because he had no right to even be there in the first place. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you see your grounds? Do you see what case you'll be building if it did go to court for an assault? So to cut this short, if you're in court for the assault, yeah, use Morris versus Beardmore as your grounds to nullify the assault charge on the bailiff, yeah. If the bailiff entered into your premises and you removed him, but you had to use a milk bottle and hit him on the head or something like that, the bailiff can't do you for assault, or we can't put a claim for assault, because according to Vaughan versus Mackenzie, it wasn't assault. You get me? He trespassed into your property. Make sure you check these two case laws, because these are what's going to get you to bust this case. You get me? So let's just go back to this. So let's just say police have arrested you, and now you know your rights. You know Vaughan versus Mackenzie case law is backing you, and you know Morrison versus Beardmore is backing you. You get me? So you know you're not in the wrong. You're in your right. He hasn't showed you any confirmation of any debt, so you're lawfully in your right to resist any kind of arrest. So while you're resisting arrest, you've accidentally and unintentionally hit the police officer, yeah. So now the police officer wants to do you for the assault on them. So this is assault on the bailiff. We'll transfer this to assault on the police officer, yeah. So what you would need to look into is Rice versus Connolly, and in that case law it would give judgment regarding police not having consent to touch another person, because basically, to cut the story short, police approached a woman scratched the police officer. No, the police approached the woman and grabbed her arm. The woman turned around, scratched the police officer. I don't know if it was unintentionally or intentional, but the police officer had a scratch. So the police took it to court, and she was arrested for assault. The case went to the Queen's Bench Division, and they determined that the police was in the wrong due to not having consent to touch the woman, and the police got done over for battery. And you can look at what the definition of battery is. You get me? So Rice versus Connolly will help you in regards to situation where there's an unlawful arrest, and I'm only talking on unlawfulness. Like, if the arrest is lawful and you've caused the arrest, then like, be a big man and take responsibility for it. You get me? Big man thing. Like, you gotta know what you're doing and you gotta act responsible with this. Like, most of the time we're getting in trouble because we just not staying too calm. We're not staying too calm and we don't know the law and we don't know the rules. You get me? Why we living in a system that we don't know the rules? How can we play a game and not understand the game, the game's rules? You get me? That's how cheating happens. That's why our consent gets taken without us even knowing. You get what I'm saying? And then we moan, thinking that we haven't give consent. You get me? So you have to understand these guidelines. So I think that covers it still. And just to summarize, important case law, Turbulent versus Savage, and that will show that threatening statements without any imminent threat of harm is not an assault, so they can't use this as an assault. Yeah. David versus Lisle or Mcardle versus Wallace will show that the bailiff had no rights of access to your property if he told him to remove. Morris versus Beardmore also states the same thing. Yeah. Also, when it comes to the courts, yeah, it's important that you don't argue with the judge, you don't cause too much controversy within the courtroom. Like, a lot of this thing is you have to accept and conditionally accept. You get me? So you have to accept that, yeah, I did use some amount of force to resist a bailiff from entering into your house. Yes, I did use a reasonable amount of force to stop me from being arrested, but I was in my lawful right to do so. You get me? If you look at another, this one's cool stuff. Weaver versus Bush. That case law alone will help you with what I've just said. Yeah, so look into that case law, and remember, lads, guys, women, everyone, like, case law is so important because they are the court's judgment. They are what the courts say. They are what the judge says. You get me? So you can't really override case law unless there's another case law to override it. Any questions, just holla. Don't forget to follow us on Insta, liberation.squad. Follow the Facebook page, like the Facebook page, Liberation Squad, and check out the website. In fact, just Google Liberation Squad, and yeah man, just good luck with the thing. Yeah.